Well, after another election defeat, the Ontario Liberal Party is gathering in Toronto today and this weekend to have important discussions and hold a leadership vote. Liberal Leader Bonnie Crombie joins us live in studio. We appreciate you coming in. I guess my first question that I want to ask you is probably the question that many of your colleagues are going to be asking you. Why should I vote for Bonnie Crombie?
Wonderful question. Let me first say how excited I am that we're getting together this weekend. It'll be a homecoming for Liberals across the province, people I've known for years, people I've met on the road. About 2,400 people have registered, so very exciting time. The proposition to them is that I was the right leader when they chose me a year and a half, 2 years ago in December of 23, and I'm still the right leader today to take on Doug Ford. I bring a combination of business experience and political experience and governing experience. And I understand their issues. And I've been listening to them all summer long, and we are going to implement all the recommendations in the report.
In the last provincial election, the Liberals made some gains, removing that, getting official party status. After 2 terms of having single seats, you're now up to 14, I believe. But you didn't win your seat. And I'm curious, what's your message to your colleagues who might have some concerns about having a leader who doesn't officially have a seat?
Yeah, getting a seat is a priority of mine, a very high priority. And we know that there is a natural attrition of about 2 seats a year. And a number of MPPs had announced prior to the election that they weren't going to run again, and suddenly their names appeared on the ballot. So we think within the next 6 months or so, there will be some seats that will open, and I will run in the first viable seat that comes open. I want to be in the House. I think I should be in the legislature.
I'm curious if you've taken a similar approach like the Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, did. Someone did step aside willingly. Are you having conversations with other MPPs about, hey, you know, I understand that maybe politics is not the road you want to go down. Can I come in?
Well, we have a small but mighty team, and they're all an integral part of our caucus. So those conversations have not happened. But if one of them feels the need to resign, then I would take up that offer. But I haven't asked any of them. My priority is to get a seat, and I will. Things are different now. I spent the first year touring around the province so people could get to know me as a leader and my vision for the party. But now when the House is sitting, I'm in the legislature. We have our strategic meetings right ahead of question period, and I respond to the scrums. So people are seeing me more often on the nightly news.
One of the criticisms that I heard throughout the last election was that the Liberals didn't do a good enough job to separate themselves from the NDP, that there wasn't a lot of difference when it came to the positions that the 2 parties held, and that's led way for a much bigger win for the Conservatives. What's your response to that?
Well, interestingly, we did get 30% of the vote to the 18.5% that they did. The leaders are quite different in the fact that I have vast business experience before entering politics and governing experience that I ran the city of Mississauga for almost a decade. I think that we went out on similar issues because you had to reframe the ballot question. When the Conservatives were running on Donald Trump and tariffs and protecting jobs, we had to show that the basics weren't getting taken care of at home. And of course, we knew our strongest suit was on healthcare, on affordability, on tax cuts, and on education. So that's what we ran with. We wanted to remind people that 2.5 million people don't have a family doctor, that 2,000 people are still getting treated in a hallway. Hallway medicine is increasing. 2,400 ERs closed, and 11,000 people died while waiting for care and treatment. So those were the kind of things we wanted to remind them, that the classrooms are crowded, schools are crumbling, that you can't buy a house that's affordable, for goodness sakes, and tax cuts that had been promised by this government were never delivered.
But it does seem, though, that the Liberals did focus a little, maybe too much, on some of these other issues that you just talked about that are extremely important. But the really big issue of the day has been affordability and the affordability crisis, which is something that, whether people agree with me or not, that the Premier was able to kind of drive home. And I'm wondering, how would you reevaluate, moving forward and focusing on these issues? Obviously, healthcare is incredibly important. I've witnessed some of this hallway healthcare myself.
Right.
So these are things that need to be tackled. But I'm wondering, what would be the top priorities now?
With respect to, right now we're going to talk about economic anxiety and angst that people are feeling, since we have the second highest unemployment rate in the country and the highest youth unemployment rate. Our youth don't have hope and they don't have opportunity. And for me, getting back to the economic basics, we know that it's always about the economy. We'll be talking a lot about that. But you're quite right. tied into that is affordability. And of course, we wanted to waive DCs on building affordable homes and eliminate the land transfer tax for people who were seniors or first-time home buyers or not-for-profits. We wanted to cut income taxes for middle-class people. We wanted to give tax cuts to small businesses. And that's another differentiation between us and the other opposition party. You don't hear from them about giving tax cuts.
Well, one thing we don't hear a lot about and haven't heard a lot about from the Ontario Liberals, and even more so the federal Liberals, is crime, which is a massive issue right now. How come you're not talking about that?
Yes, and that is on the agenda as well. Crime and community safety, as you well know, I was the mayor of Mississauga, and I would say Peel Region was the hub of car theft and break-and-enters to steal keys, and so we know that we have to focus on those issues as well, and you'll be hearing more from us when the legislature is back.
Ontario Liberal Leader Bonnie Crombie, we appreciate you coming into the studio. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Jamie.